Hello, flower friends. This is Jen, and this week we're going to talk about something exciting, and that is revenue. In coaching florists from like all over, and then really working closely with my floral CEO mastermind girls, I have had a certain way that I've done things for a long time. And it's interesting to hear perspectives in different markets and really what's working for other people in different markets. And I know, like here in the Minneapolis market, we're a little bit behind. And so we get a trend like a couple years after another major market, sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year. And with coaching floors from some of the bigger markets, I see, these people bringing these things into motion that are new concepts. And some of these aren't like completely new concepts that I want to talk about, but I want to talk about like just opening your mind to what else is out there. I am not a fan of doing a million things because I don't think doing a million things that you can be successful doing that. But I think if you really dig deep into a couple core offerings, your business can be more successful. That's where like the content pillars. It says not to have more than 5 content pillars in every strategy I have ever listened to. So having these core offerings can help drive more business. All right. So the first thing, I have a couple rural-ish Minnesota florists, and they crush it in funerals. And they were actually in the Floral CEO Mastermind. We have a mini group that's dedicated just to the retail shop owners in the group. And we have more retail shop owners than we've ever had. So it's really fun and getting to learn about all of these different things. And one of them has this like really extensive inventory of funeral ish or sympathy inspired gifts. And she does really well with having things like wind chimes and all these other like kind of sympathy related products that she can either build in to a floral arrangement and then it's something special that they can keep afterwards, or you can offer custom things. Obviously, custom things come with premium prices. And I have a funeral coming up that's I think it's on June 5th. And I have 5 different items that have been ordered. But one of them, it was really special for the grandkids to go to Starbucks with grandpa. And so they want a arrangement in either a Starbucks cup or potentially one of those to-go cups that I said I could put like a Starbucks cup in there and then I could put a floral arrangement in the other and it would have a little handle because it was 2 little girls that were grandchildren. I've also done funeral arrangements that I did a wreath that I got 30 fishing lures from Walmart, so they were inexpensive fishing lures, and I attached those throughout the funeral wreath, and then afterwards, each grandkid kept one. I've also done a custom floral piece that was a toolbox, and then it had garden tools in it, and those garden tools, each one of the children, there was 5 children, kept one of the garden tools afterwards because the father was a big gardener. And also he was really big into woodworking and all these other things, so I kind of made it really fun and interesting. So doing custom floral, everybody thinks of like floral for funerals as being really lame and really uninspiring. You don't need to do that. You can make it as fun as you want and as customized as you want, and that is just what you offer as a service. You do not need to do the lame funeral arrangements that are uninspiring to you. That does not need to be in your repertoire. So just wanted to throw that out there. Custom funeral arrangements. All right, the next, proposals. And I'm not talking about all the work we do with floral proposals for weddings. I'm talking about couples are hiring, the guy, the girl, whoever is proposing is hiring wedding planners to go in and help plan their proposal. These are elaborate. I have had 6 of them in the last 5 months, and they have ranged anywhere from $400 and that was picked up to $2,500, and that was picked up. They can be silk flower petals. They can be something fun like urn arrangements that are like this backdrop. I have had my silk flowers multiple times being rented out for this. So it is such a interesting market, and if nobody in your market is doing it, you could come up with a custom proposal package with some type of silk flower arrangement and then floating candles because we probably all have floating candles and things like that that could really make that whole experience easy for either a wedding planner or somebody individually to hire you and very low amount of effort on your behalf. All right. Silk flowers. I have talked about this numerous times. Silk flowers are, I think, a business game changer. I know that I launched and started, and last year alone, I had, I think it ended up to be $9,700 in silk floral rentals, which paid for my silk flower rentals and, of course, had a bigger return. And that was out without me formally launching my rental business with a website or anything. So, this is something that I think, especially with the rising cost of flowers, is going to be a very viable business. I took the Blue Blossom Academy, which I will link the episode that I did with Jacqueline from Blue Blossom in there. It was such a great episode, but the course walks you through all of the sourcing, all of how to make it. This is the master class that is basically like you're launching a floral arch rental business. It is very comprehensive. It talks about setting up your website, talks about doing all the things. So if this is something that seems interesting, send me a DM on Instagram or send me an email at jenny@thefloralhustle.com. And I'd love to share some information. If you sign up using my code HUSTLE, you get her free installations class. That class alone is such a great deal. I took the course as well. It teaches you how to commercially install floral installations for businesses, which I think is a pretty valuable tool. I learned some different mechanics in there that I think could be helpful for any fresh or silk. All right. Adding dailies as a designer's choice. We get so in the weeds of making and delivering something that looks so spot on to what somebody is looking for from an inspiration. But most people who are ordering dailies have no clue, nor do they really care other than they want pretty flowers. So if you just want pretty flowers, a designer's choice offering could be whatever you have, whatever you're growing, whatever you have on hand in some type of easy vase, easy peasy, ready to go. And you have a product that you can spit out and it's less stress because the person has no idea what it's going to look like. You can use generic pictures and document when you are doing them so that you have examples. Here's an $85 designer's choice. Here's $125 designer's choice. Really easy, less stress than having a million catalog items, and a way for you to add dailies if that is something that you want to do with less stress. All right. The next one I want to talk about is so fascinating to me because I just didn't know that this was such a big market, and it's porch pots. Porch pots are custom, like not the ones that you go and buy at the grocery store. These are maybe bigger pots that you go normally on site and design in those porch pots. So you go in and you decorate, you get in the winter spruce tops. In the summer, maybe you're putting pansies, or the beginning of the spring, pansies and pussy willow and bulbs or whatever you want to put in there. And then in the summer, you're doing their summer planters. Often it is a like 2-week grand slam of pumping through however many that you have. Most of the people that I have coached that do porch pots, they go in by word of mouth normally to get the majority of their business. And often they'll save things like birch logs, or they'll save things like silk flowers that they use so that they can be reused. And that is part of their kind of pricing equation. They will get to be creative and do fun things from person to person. So it's not like this boring cookie cutter experience, which is fun creatively. And it's a whole new revenue source that people on your block, people in your area, your neighborhood, your current clients, your businesses potentially that you service might already be doing. So it's an opportunity for you to grab a influx of revenue in a short amount of time and then moving on to the next thing. So that is something that if you, especially if you like gardening or you like doing outdoor things, I would definitely consider. All right, my last, and I have done podcast episodes on this. I've done a whole bunch of things on this, but my last thing is a la carte flowers. I actually was going through my photos and I found my old photos. I have been doing a la carte flowers for quite a long time. I think it was before COVID. So I think like 7 years. On average, I mean, I've had years that I've done $25,000 of revenue. I've had years that I've done $45,000 of revenue. I don't market it heavily. It's more of a tool that if a lead comes in, I'm able to handle that lead with a $2,000 budget that's under my minimum and not in a way that I'm turning them away. So it's a way to be able to serve more people universally, especially referrals, wedding planners. And it is a way for you to creatively have fun because you're picking these core color palettes. It's something to talk about on social media that's different. Not a lot of florists are doing it. And it is a way to get a weekend that potentially you have a bigger weekend, you're already going to have flowers. And so you can just add on to your order. You have time period minimums and things like that for booking because you just need time to be able to order things. And from there, you can just go have it picked up potentially. You could, just have it be a delivery basis, but you can have this really streamlined process that you're not meeting with people. So you're not going and doing a million consultations with somebody who's going to spend $700. I do not meet with people who spend $700. It is not a good investment of my time. But I will meet with somebody who has got maybe a $2,000 a la carte order, and I'll meet with them for 15 minutes. So I have a Calendly invite that is a 15-minute chat. I also will take a deposit. If they don't know all of the items that they need, so that I lock them down and they quit looking, I can easily just offer them to do a contract and deposit, just like I do on a normal wedding, with keeping in mind that they are going to spend around what they had asked me for initially. So, okay, in looking at the preliminary estimate, it looks like that's going to be around $2,000. Does that sound okay? Get a nod. Yep. Get the verbal. Okay. I would be okay with taking a deposit and doing a contract, keeping in mind you're going to spend around $2,000 because I would rather know and be able to book out that labor than all of a sudden be blindsided like shit. We got to figure all this out because that sucks. All right. Those are some ideas. You might absolutely love just doing wedding flowers. You might just love doing dailies. I don't know many people who just love doing dailies all the time. You might just love doing funerals. Like whatever your jam is, you should master that. Master your core revenue, source before you move on. But if you have the ability to make another $30,000 from something, I don't think that sucks. And I would entertain it. But add that one thing. Make it as best as you can. Go all in on it. Then from there, after you have the processes down, after you know what this looks like, after you know what it looks like to execute it, then move on. I know so many people who do this like shiny object, like, I'm gonna snacks and I'm gonna do that next. It's like, stop. Master your core product, then add on. And especially when somebody's not making revenue, it is so easy to say, this isn't working. I'm going to try something new. And that just long term is going to be tricky. So think about it. Have I really mastered my core revenue? I have mastered my core revenue service. And then I went and added a la carte. Then I went and added silk. And then I went and added, like, as a very easy add, proposals, because a lot of the times they're using my silks. Can you add something that's synergistic? Like a la carte flowers and weddings, totally synergistic. And you probably don't need to 100% have full service mastered to add a la carte. So thank you so much for listening, flower friends, and you have an amazing flower filled day.